I've met people who I've only seen on Zoom for years. Just to see them in the flesh, has been such an incredible experience. It's like I know them.
As a person who's done a lot of Zoom presentations, I want to still say this couldn't have happened over Zoom. Not this, yes. Not what happened today. So there's something about the energy in a space when you're together.
Personally, it's just really nice for me to be able to see everyone's body language. I mean, as deaf people, we read into that quite a bit. Instead of just having someone on a screen in 2D, there's not that connection. It's through that in-person interaction that we get more than what we see on the screen.
So the ANC is the NCTSN's All-Network Conference, and it is so important because for all these sites that are spread out across the country, they love coming together in a collaborative nature to have a place where people who really care about trauma are coming together. And alongside that, many of them have very different perspectives. Some are coming from different geographical regions, some are serving different populations, et cetera. And so it's just a wonderful way to connect and hear from each other, share on lessons learned, and experience something that's really important to them together.
The very first ANC was held in Bob Pinus's backyard, and there were 17 sites at that time. And it was a fun meeting, and I think it set the tone for what we still try to preserve, even though we are now 600 people meeting in a hotel.
The theme for this year's ANC is Growing the Field Together, People, Communities, and Cultures Shaping the Future of Trauma Prevention and Healing.
Yeah.
And for me, this theme is all about community. Bringing community to the table, engaging them in discussion, and working together in a community-led way to identify what are the needs and how can we work together to fulfill those needs in the sense of preventing trauma and fostering healing. And I think also the theme really means that this is something that we're all going to do together, and that each one of us has a unique way and a unique voice and perspective to contribute in this process, and we can learn from each other along the way.
We are a nationwide network with over 200 plus sites and affiliates. So we are a very large network from coast to coast. A land acknowledgement is very important for the entire network. A lot of organizations would do a land acknowledgement, just acknowledging the land that they are currently occupying, but we are nationwide, so we really needed a land acknowledgement that really encompasses all of Turtle Island, right? So that's what we set out to do, is really something that encompasses everything and everybody.
Queer and trans people sometimes have trauma too. So I think this is fundamental in this space, and as someone who does a lot of life-saving, life-affirming work, it is proven that this work saves lives.
Trauma-informed care should be the bare minimum of how we care for anyone, right? As we move into the next level of this work, any part of somebody's intersectionality or identity should be at the forefront of the work.
And not every trauma is the same. So it's also important to explore, those intersections to understand how trauma impacts people, right? And so any identity might be a part of that experience, and it's important not to generalize or assume what that is about. If we explore those intersections and really understand where people are coming from, I think we have a way of doing this work that's going to be really meaningful for individuals and community at large.
So since it's your first time at the ANC, what are you looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to really anything. I have an open mind. I don't really know what to expect, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can hear from other people's experiences and take it back and hopefully share some.
I'm a school-based clinician, so I'm looking forward to learning all the school-based stuff along with community work. So I'm looking forward to learning all of that and how we can develop this grant even more that we were blessed with to help the kids in the school with school mental health.
There were many presentations that I'm wanting to look at, and most of them surround race and the trauma lens around that, and what we do in our communities to dismantle that. I'm looking forward to more partnerships and collaborations for the work that I do in community. This year's conference is a little different for me because last time I didn't know anybody, but this time I know some people.
Kim, you have been a part of the NCTSN for so long. You've been here since the beginning. You've been here since the first ANC. How does the growth of the ANC make you feel from the first one to this one?
Well, it's amazing. I think the first one where we were in Bob Hynus's backyard trying to just figure out what is the network. There wasn't a huge conversation nationally about child trauma. So it's pretty amazing to see how it's grown to now 200 sites all over the country, how many affiliates we have. It's pretty amazing. I don't think we could have ever imagined that we would be this size with this many people and having the really important conversations that we're really lucky to be having together.
Second ANC, fully back in person. How does it feel to be back collaborating with everybody from across the network in person?
Honestly, it's amazing. There's no substitute for getting together. The All-Network Conference is such a special meeting where we can gather together, see each other in human life. I love being able to connect with people over Zoom. It's such a great opportunity, but really seeing people that I've collaborated with in the past, hearing their stories, you really get that time in between sessions to reconnect with people and take those stories of change that you really remember. I find it so restorative and amazing to be in this space. I feel extremely grateful and lucky that we have this meeting back.
Three days, one ANC. What was the most impactful thing from the ANC this week?
And I would say the most impactful was the school collaboratives group, school-based clinicians, getting together and just talking about what we're struggling with, just like knowing I'm not alone was very impactful.
I'm most excited, obviously, to share information, not so much new, but information that I can take in, like, oh, this is really fantastic, a fantastic focal point. We can bring this back to WPI, we can bring this back to Guam and the Pacific, and see how we can make it fit for us.
That I jumped in with conversation to talk about rest as resistance and taking care of yourself while you do this work, because it can get overwhelming. And you have to also remember that you have to heal yourself too, or be healing, in the practice of what it is that you do.